I believe it is time for our open forum. Before that, should we take our group shots? Are we all ready? So may we kindly ask our members, our participants, as well as our research speakers to please turn your cameras on for a group screenshot to be facilitated by GC's Tech Assistant, Miss Maribeth Jose. Miss Mabeth, please cue
Thank
us
you
in.
po. While waiting for them to open their cameras. Again, maraming salamat po sa GRS Express. Kahit kailan maaasahan, kahit saan, makakarating. So, are we ready na po? Okay, say green!
Green.
Sa,
Green.
ayan. Salamat po!
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and thank you once again to our research speakers. I think we're all ready to have our open forum na po, Sir David.
Okay, thank you, Marian and Maribeth. Now to hear the polls of our participants. Baka hindi ako naririnig. Check ko lang. Ayun.
Yes po,
Both on Zoom and on Facebook live stream, we will open the floor through your questions, reactions, and takeaways that we want our research speakers to address. To ask a question or share a comment, you may raise your hand if you would like to speak. We will call you on and gladly recognize you to unmute. Once called, please introduce yourself by stating your name, organization, school, or location, and clearly state your question and to whom it is directed. Or you can also type your question or comment in the chat box, and Marian and I will read it for you. Rest assured that we will take as many questions as time permits following a first come, first served basis. So let's get the conversation started. So meron na po ba mga questions?
May nag-raise ng hands. Yes po, Miss Miles. You
Go
are
ahead.
recognized.
This is for Dr. Siringan. A while back you mentioned that river widening is actually a good or better option than the usual way by which our city government does it, which is by dredging. And you mentioned that actually I think in Marikina they're doing some widening projects there and in Quezon City. But recently I encountered in the in the web, actually na-publish ata sa Nature to when they found out that some of the widening projects in Europe, Western Europe, yung Meuse River, I think, actually cause floods instead of really protecting because of, I think there are constrictions along the way. Some parts were widened, but the widening wasn't uh, the usual na pare-pareho, ganun. How can we be sure that whatever widening project we might have here in the country will not have the same story as that of the Western Europe na instead of mitigating the flooding, it even worsened in some parts of the area.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat, Mila. No? I'm not familiar with the Nature, the publication that you're referring to. No, but what I can think of as a potential problem, if you widen a section of the river, say up dip, but did not do anything down deep, then magkakaproblema, mabahain yung down deep. Okay? Kasi once you widen a river along a certain section up dip, bibilis ang pagbaba ng tubig. Abay dapat ay ma-consider yon, no, doon sa overall na activity. Kaya dapat pati sa ibaba, yung dadaanan ng napabilis na daloy ng tubig ay may adjust din. Now on dredging, no? I did not say dredging should not be done. What I said was, and I think hindi mo naman sinabi na hindi dapat, sinabi kong hindi dapat, ano. May mga lugar na kailangan mag-dredge. Kung kailangan na natin na matulungan ang sarili natin, i-dredge, no? Pero yung long term na dapat na gawin, kung kaya pa ay paluwangin ang ilog, no? Sa mga tamang lugar, At dapat ay hindi lang isang section kundi tingnan yung buong ilog, no? At hindi lang naman siya yung dapat gawin. Maraming dapat na gawin, no? I hope that I'm not giving the impression that parang nagre-recommend ako ng isa lang na pwedeng gawin, no? And hindi, dapat ay combination of things ang gagawin. Yun lang po. Sana nasagot ko, Mila, ang iyong katanungan.
Thank you, thank you. Napakaganda ng mga feedback na yun. And Sir Jesus Las Marias, raising his hand.
Hello,
Jess, go ahead.
hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes po, good afternoon po.
Yes po.
Yes, my name is Jesus Las Marias. Just call me Manong Jess. I'm better known by that name in the industry. I retired as a policy researcher for irrigation at the Senate. And currently I'm working here in NIA. They got me as a consultant for irrigation systems. I went to the Lincoln Center to study water resources protection and development and wastewater treatment and purification in Japan. Now, listening to the speakers, I've been trying to find correlation between the title of this Zoom meeting and the presentation, no? Pero parang, I'm sorry to say this, but parang wala ako masyadong narinig. Kasi nakalagay doon bayanihan. When you say bayanihan, it is actually collaboration, no? Among those who are affected by the problem that is flooding and problem about water. Like say for Quezon City is trying to solve this problem. Now, saan ba nanggagaling ang flood water sa Quezon City? Di ba galing sa taas? Galing sa San Mateo, galing sa Montalban. I'm looking for the collaboration between Quezon City, Montalban, and San Mateo para ma-solve yung problem sa Quezon City. Now, there is a solution to that, and maybe it will take me a little bit longer to explain it. But actually, right now, just yesterday we had the budget hearing for NIA at the Senate. And arising from it is actually a revival of a proposed legislation for rainwater management. Actually, as early as the 15th Congress, I already submitted to several senators to file a bill on rainwater management, no? But never that this were did this not even reach the committee level to be discussed, no? So nangyari tuloy yung mga flooding sa Bulacan and many other areas in the country. But actually, to solve flooding for me, there is a need to collaborate among the agencies, among the institutions, among the LGUs, and the people who are affected. Ayan ang hinahanap ko dun sa mga nagsasalita kanina, but unfortunately, I don't think I have heard enough. Actually, ang problema natin dito sa Pilipinas, most often than not, whenever we have local problems, we are too outward looking. No, tinitingnan natin yung ginagawa sa ibang bansa, sa Japan, sa Israel, sa United States and Europe, no? Eh ang problema natin local pero tama yata doon sa isang nagsalita kanina that we are trying to solve our local problems. Pero until today, in fact, like I was trying to tell you, I submitted already to the Senate and to the House of Representatives sa mga congressmen kung anong solusyon sa pagbaha. Pero hindi naman sila nakikinig kasi in the first place, I'm nobody. I don't have a PhD. Nobody knows me in society, so walang nakikinig sa akin. But the problem is, there is really a solution to that. Okay? Like for example, may nagsabi ka rin na isang nagsalita na isang solution sa pagbaha ay yung reforestation. Actually, in a way, it will work or it does not work. Because nag-reforest ka, pinabayaan mo lang, hindi yan magiging solusyon. Kasi after planting, and this is what I have observed, no? After planting the trees, kung saan man yung mga dalisdis na yan ng bundok, ang nangyayari, pinababayaan na. Kaya pag nadaanan ng kalabaw, patay na yung itinanim. Pag nakaligtas, lumaki sinlaki ng tuhod, nadaanan ng gumagawa ng uling, sigurado gagawing uling yan. And then pag lumaki pa yan, sing laki ng katawan ng tao, pagdating ng panahon, merong magtatayo ng bahay, nakita niya malaki, kukunin yan at gagawing poste ng kanilang bahay. So this is sa pamamagitan nito, reforestation will not work unless of course there is collaboration. Okay? Because it takes about 25 to 30 years for the tree to do its role in replenishing or helping prevent downstream flooding. In order for reforestation to work, magkakaroon ng collaboration, kailangan ng bayanihan. Like for example, we in Quezon City, kami rito ang nahihirapan sa pagbaha. Ganon din yung nasa Manila and other towns and cities downstream, no? Lahat tayo rito, apektado tayo ng pagbaha, no? Pero do we ever really help in making reforestation work? Wala. Nagsasuffer lang tayo. Like, okay, if the DNR magtanim ng punong kahoy somewhere in Montalban or in San Mateo, bakit hindi pwede yung mga taga Quezon City at least once a month bisitahin yung area ng Quezon City doon para alagaan yung itinanim doon? Para mabuhay yung mga punong kahoy, para ma-prevent yung mga pupuntang mga mag-i-squat doon at mga informal settlers para gawing uling yung itinanim doon. Di ba? Like there is also one area for Manila or for Makati or for Pasay na kung ano yung tinanim doon sa bundok, they should be made responsible for that. Bakit? Kasi sila ang naapektuhan pag nagbabaha eh. Iniiwan natin lahat sa gobyerno yung responsibilidad. Kaya doon ko hinahanap yung collaboration, yung bayanihan. Dapat pag nagkaroon ng tree planting or reforestation, dapat sumali tayo sa pag-aalaga ng itinanim doon sa bundok para gumana yan. Okay. And one more thing, I don't see any proposal na magkaroon ng mga recharge systems. Although narinig ko yata kanina, kaya lang hindi extensive ang pagkakadiscuss. Like in yesterday's budget hearing in the Senate, I was trying to listen if there is a solution to pagbaha that recharge systems. You know, since trees and reforestation does not work right away, there is what we call as artificial aquifer recharging. So in place of trees na matagal bago mo mapakinabangan, kailangan natin ang mga recharge systems. But we have to make sure that ang recharge system is the reverse of extraction. No? Extraction is by the way of pump. No? Ang recharge system is the reverse. No? Instead of extracting water from underground, you will introduce water into the underground by way of collecting the rainwater. Ang tawag dyan ay rainwater harvesting. Okay? And then, you do artificial aquifer recharging. Linisin mo muna yung tubig doon sa mga convergence areas at ipasok mo sa ilalim ng lupa. Mas mura yan na paraan ng helping flood control. And at the same time, pag in-inject mo kasi yung tubig sa ilalim ng lupa, slowly may mga springs doon sa ilalim ng lupa, and the water from there will find their way sa mga aquifers. Pagdating sa baba, may nakukuhang tubig. Maraming dahilan bakit you have to recharge the aquifer. One is you can prevent yung saltwater intrusion sa mga coastal areas. Ikalawa, you can help mitigate flooding. And you can ensure the availability of water sa mga water retention dams dahil ang slow seepage ng tubig na inilagay mo sa aquifer, they will find their way eventually doon sa dams by way of springs na nasa ilalim ng dam. So this is really very important, and that is what we don't have now. No? Siguro baka taga-ibang bansa ang pupunta dito at sasabihin sa gobyerno natin kailangan nyo ng recharge well. Baka siguro gagawin ng gobyerno yon. Pero until today, matagal ko nang sinasabi yon. In fact, I participated in 2 hearings about flooding in the Senate. In-explain ko ang dahilan ng pag-flooding at in-explain ko rin ko anong solusyon. Nagpalakpakan pa sila. Pero after that, hanggang doon lang, wala namang nangyari. Di ba? Ang ginawa lang ng mga senador, pagalitan yung mga agencies sa gobyerno, pero ang mga senador, wala namang ibinibigay na solusyon sa problema. So, well, to that extent, there are still many things that I can share, no? Pero ang problema, we have very limited time. But in any event, in the future, just in case, like Quezon City, because I am from Quezon City anyway, if the Quezon City government is interested to hear more about solutions to the problem about downstream flooding, we are available for consultation. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Sir Jesse. Meron po ba kayong particular question na kailangan you want to be addressed by our speakers?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but what I'm trying to say is I have something to share. But regarding questions among the speaker, yung taga Quezon City lang, kung interesado sila na medyo maintindihan pa yung problema ng downstream flooding, we are ready to give our assistance to the Quezon City government.
Perhaps we can have a part 2 of this and invite Sir Jess Las Marias, no? Mga kasama sa Green Convergence. I think this is a very interesting and timely topic to discuss. So let's see, no? Napaka-interesting ng ating topic. Thank you, Sir Jess. Sir Dr. G, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I have many questions, but I think to keep the conversation flowing, siguro si Sister Marvy can discuss how we take care of our trees in Tanay and our other reforestation areas, because Sir Jess seems to be quite disturbed na hindi inaalagaan yung mga puno natin na tinatanim. Number one. Number two, I think ang Quezon City meron ding mga plans for cisterns. Is that what Sir Jess is meaning for as far when he speaks about recharge? Yung mga cisterns, I think what I know is that the government is looking at the possibility of providing cisterns in certain areas.
Yes.
So I ask my questions in a while, but the others might want to respond to Sir Jess's points.
Well, may I react to that, Mr. Moderator? Well, cisterns are actually like water tanks na nasa ilalim ng lupa. Those are
Yeah.
cisterns. But when you say artificial aquifer recharge or recharge wells, this is different, no? And this is more effective than having cisterns, kasi cisterns, limited lang ang volume that you can store. But when you have a recharge well or you can have more sponge areas, mas marami ang makukolekta mong tubig, and you can you can really mitigate downstream flooding. Now, if you look at the surface, no, and this is something that many people do not understand. The largest storage for liquid fresh water is not on the surface. Wala sa rivers, wala sa lakes, no, wala sa ponds. The storage, the capacity of the underground, no, actually 98.5% of the world's liquid fresh water supply is found underground. Only 1.5 is found on the surface. That's the reason why when we keep on extracting water from underground, it is incumbent upon us to return or replenish the water that we extract from underground, which until the moment we don't have. The National Water Resources Board is giving out licenses for the extraction of liquid fresh water from underground, but they don't require those extractors of liquid fresh water na i-replenish yung kinuha nilang tubig. Wala eh. Or what they do is just have extraction wells pero walang injection wells. Dapat sana kapag umulan like what is happening now na napakalakas ang ulan, pinababayaan lang. Now, ang mga senators, ang nasa isip nila to prevent flooding is to construct more waterways. Meaning to say, pag umulan ng malakas, you have to do as fast as you can to bring the rainwater downstream at makarating kaagad dun sa dagat. No, that's not the way to prevent downstream flooding. You have to retard or at least keep the rainwater where it dropped. Nandun ma-maintain mo siya ron para walang runoff, para walang magkaroon ng downstream flooding. These are the things that I am recommending doon sa bill na ginagawa ko ngayon na ang title ay Rainwater Management Act of 2025. Napakalaki ang ibig sabihin nito, no? It addresses many problems like downstream flooding, food security, concerns about the environment, climate change, and domestic, commercial, and industrial uses of rainwater. medyo mahaba bang discussion yon, and well, it's really unfortunate that we don't have that much time to discuss these things. Thank you very much po.
Maraming salamat. I think very interesting yan, no? Kasi what I've been reading as well is the so-called sustainable stormwater management. Napakaganda ng point ni Sir Jess doon, no? Na siguro itong mga legislators natin should also have a change in a paradigm shift. Dr. G, do you have a follow-up question?
No, not follow up, new questions.
Okay po, go
But
ahead.
I like the perspective of the speakers that we're here and now, no? So maganda yung point ni Dr. Siringa na before starting a project, tignan na muna ang consequences in the future. Pero we're here and now, so marami ng mga problema. So what can we do as way forward? Number one, what do you think about reclamation? Si Dr. Silingan ito ha. You mentioned that when we fill rivers, we increase the probability of floods. Well, reclamation is filling areas which should really be already ocean. So how much, if at all, you think, does reclamation exacerbate flooding? That's one question. Number two, I'm very interested in yung inyong sinabing permeable pavements. Are these made of? Bakit sila permeable? And then number three, just for my curiosity, yung mga farms in Cagayan which use glyphosate, are they GMOs? Because I know GMOs require glyphosate. Number four, yung water retention ponds, is there any ratio of ponds to the farmlands which it serves? Okay, I remember we had in our farm yung tabon, but I really didn't understand how what area it served, and so if you have any information about the size of the tabon or rainwater retention ponds to the area it should serve for agriculture, I guess. And then for Mr. Martiliano, meron hong mga chismis siguro, I don't know if it's fact, that some condo buildings in Quezon City have decreased our esteros by either filling up and building on top or fully or partially on the esteros. And then Kilea, I'd like to know what sins have you committed as an architect, which you are sorry about, and what should be the guidelines for architects henceforth, so that your work is more following ecological guidelines. Thank you. Those are my questions. Ang dami ah.
So, buti po kung matandaan ko lahat ng tanong ninyo. I think you have 4 questions for me.
Yeah.
So, well, full disclosure, I am a member of the board of directors of PRA. Yes, so alam din po ninyo kung saan ako nanggagaling.
Of where, sir? Director of?
Member po ako, appointed as a member ng board of directors ng Philippine Reclamation Authority. So I am.
Okay.
Okay. So one, reclamation can take place along rivers. Reclamation can take place along lakes, and reclamation can also be done in the ocean. In the case of Laguna de Bay, where the outflow is very limited and the capacity of the lake to accommodate water is limited by the area along which the flood can or the extra rainwater can occupy during a flood stage. Pag nabawasan po yun ng nabawasan ay lalong tataas yung baha. At ang hindi po hindi sang-ayon ang PRA sa solution na lagyan ng dike ang buong paligid ng Laguna de Bay. Okay. You lose a lot of environmental space or niche, no? And certainly hindi din maganda ang magiging effect nito sa overall na flood flooding, no, within that area. Along rivers, if one would reclaim, no, again, imbis na palawakin natin ang ilog, reclamation would of course paliliitin yung ilog, no. May mga structures na pwede namang gawin na on stilt. Okay. No, reclamation, una siguro sabihin ko, kaka-appoint ko din lang po as a board of director na member ng PRA, ano. And I was appointed for, in my background, as a coastal geologist. Siguro ipalam ko din na madaming naabutan namin ganun na, no? Para lang alam ninyo kung ano ang dinideal din ng present na board of directors. Ang mismong disenyo ng mga ongoing na reclamation po ngayon sa Manila Bay ay ibang-iba na doon sa original na mga plano. Ang isa sa malaking pagbabago ay ginawang isla yung mga reclaimed land imbis na yung nakadikit sa lupa, no? At ito ay ni-require ng DENR dahil sa makakatulong na merong espasyo ng tubig dagat sa harapan at hindi mapapasikip ang ilog. Ano po? May pag-aaral din na ginawa na tiningnan ang epekto kung ipapasatupad yung 22 in total, no? Mula sa na-approve na or ongoing na approve pero hindi pa ongoing at yung mga app na nag-apply, meron pong kung tama ang aking recollection, 22 yung total, no? Sa ginawa pong pag-aaral at na-involve ako doon as a member of MRF, no? Yun pong foundation dito sa MSI. Kung gagawin lahat 'yon, hindi hindi maganda kasi malaki ang epekto nito sa pag-promote ng pagtaas ng dagat along the coast during storms of certain intensity, no, yung wind speed and certain wind direction that can then cause damming, no, magdadam po siya, so mas lalala yung pagbabaha. Kaya po yung recommendation nung trabaho namin ay wag ipatupad ang lahat ng proyekto. But certainly for those that are already ongoing, ay halos wala na po tayong magagawa doon, but only to modify, have them modify some of the designs, no, to a certain extent, no, pero meron ding mga bahagi na hindi na mababago pa, no. Reclamation, if done improperly, kung ito ay makakabara sa mga ilog, and I have seen some reclamations na madaming illegal, no, all over the Philippines na nagpapasikip sa mga ilog, then definitely problema po 'yan para sa pagbabaha. Meron din mga reclamation na ginawa na in areas where the land is relatively close to sea level, pero yung reclaimed land naka-attach, no, doon sa existing land at yung reclaimed land ay mas mataas, no? At by design talaga pong mas tinataasan yung mga reclaimed land. Yun po, hindi din po yun maganda kasi matatrap niya yung tubig, no, doon sa loob, no. Kaya yun pong mga bagay na yun, bahagi po ng mga binabantayan sa ngayon, no, sa PRA, no. Yun pong pangalawang tanong ninyo. Ano na nga po ba yan, ma'am?
Permeable pavements.
permeable pavement. Maraming uri po ng permeable na pavement, no? Sa example po na pinakita kanina para sa Quezon City, yung function niya po ay parang asfalto. Pero yun pong asfalto ay sumisipsip ng tubig. Pero yun pong
Mm.
isa na kilalang kilala po natin sa mga parking lots. Yun pong bloke-bloke ng konkreto na may mga butas na inilalatag lang po natin sa bedding na graba at buhangin. Yun po ay kung yun ang gagamitin natin sa ating driveway o kaya sa ating parking lot. And typically, parking lots can be large, no? May mga butas po yun kapag umulan, then pwede pong masipsip niya yun pong bahagi, no, ng tubig. Yun din pong uh, aspeto bale ng permeable na pavement is actually in parking lots, no? May ipapababayan ang tubig sa isang kanal pero yung kanal po mismo ay permeable din po yung material po. So existing na po yan, ginagamit na po natin to a certain degree. Pero yun pong mismong sa kalye na permeable, sa Pilipinas wala pa po niyan. Pero natuwa ako na nabanggit kanina sa Quezon City ay tinitingnan yung possible na timpla o composition nung pwedeng gamitin na permeable na layer para sa mga daan. Yun pong pang-apat yung natatandaan ko. Ano po yung pangatlo ninyong katanungan?
Pangatlo, just ano lang, information lang, yung tinatanim nila na corn, which uses
Opo,
glyphosate.
yeah,
GMO?
it's GMO. It's provided by DA. That's the sad thing, you know.
Yeah.
They're trying to help out the farmers, but the very nature of the help that they are extending, hindi po maganda yung long-term na effect, no? In Alcala where I was I worked, no, and I still work with them. Ina-encourage po yung farmers at binibigyan ng incentive na mag-shift sila ulit, no, doon sa white corn, no. Bali ang ginawa po ng Alcala ay binibili nila yung white corn. Ito po yung native na variety at yun pong white corn na yon ay iniipon nila, bali ina-aggregate po nila yung produkto ng mga farmers at sila po yung kumukontak sa malalaking kumpanya para po bilihin, no, sa kanila. Yun pong si Boy Bawang, no, sikat po 'yon, gumagawa po ng cornic, no. Isa
Yes.
po sa kanilang kliyente, no.
White corn na yon? White corn na yon?
White corn po 'yon, ma'am. Opo.
Ay, that's good to
White corn po
know.
siya. Opo. So, madami din pong mga farmers sa lowland na nag-shift po into white corn, no? Ang isa din pong ginawa nila ay namigay po sila ng fruit-bearing trees, mga grafted, sa mga farmers na nag-occupy nung watershed nung SWIP, no? Yun lang po ay hindi sila ganun ka-successful. Madami sa mga farmers ang bumalik, no, sa mais, no? Kaya
Wow.
kailangan pong patuloy lang yung effort nila sa pag-encourage, pagbabantay. Kanina po sinasabi na-disappoint at walang pagtutulungan sa loob ko po at sa isipan ko ay kinakailangan naman po talaga yung pagtutulungan. Pero between the farmer, between the local government, the national government, and within the NGOs, POs, no, definitely kailangan po ng pagtutulungan, no, ng iba't ibang grupo. At ito po mismong ginagawa natin dito, ito ay pagtutulungan kasi ito ay pagbibigay ng kaalaman na maaaring hindi pa alam ng iba or reinforcing what we already know, and that's helping one another. Ano po, Sir Jess, ano po? On the ratio of the SWIP and the number of farmers, wala pong formula na nagagamit because it all depends on the available land and the topography. So you may have a river system that one can tap na kapag even if you close just a small area na yun pong tubig na may ipon pwede na pong malaki. But if you're interested in the number of families that benefited, doon po sa 12 na sweeps, in terms of hectares, slightly less than 1,000 hectares, yun pong na-irrigate, no? Kasi po walang proyekto ang NIA doon sa Alcala, kaya po lahat ay sariling sikap, no? Yung ginawa po ng local government. Yun lang po,
Thank
Ma'am
you very
Mina.
much. Thank you very much.
Okay po.
Text ko, i-email lang ko kayo ha sa aking mga ibang comments about PRA. Thank you.
Okay. Sige po.
Okay po. Thank you for those insights. I believe may question din po for Mr. Martiliano kanina, si Dr. Galang. Yes po.
Yes po, Dr. Galang, no. Unfortunately po, Quezon City DRMO is not directly connected po sa mga building permits, and we are only aware po ng mga incidents na ganito once ma-report po sa amin, no. Yun lang po, siguro more on the community level po na kung may makita silang ganitong instances or incidents po na yung mga buildings, lalo yung mga private buildings ay nakatayo sa ating mga waterways, siguro mas maaari pong i-report sila para magkaroon po tayo ng actionable items. And to add din, ma'am, dun sa permeable pavement, no, to share lang din po yung current situation sa Quezon City is that we're also looking at po that permeable pavements along sidewalks na kung saan po pwedeng tumubo yung mga puno, na instead po na nahihinder or nalilimit po yung paglaki ng mga puno natin sa sidewalks, is tuloy-tuloy po yung pag-grow nila. So yun nga po, ongoing study pa lang po yung kanyang efficiency or effectivity sa city. Pero yun po yung isa namin nakikitang paraan para makadagdag or makabawas po sa mga surface runoff sa city. And siguro to add din po dun sa naging comment ni Doc Siringan, no, we are also looking at po din dun, Doc, yung mga parking areas po na magkaroon ng permeable pavements. So yung mga di ba naman basic, pero more on the usual po na bloke lang ng semento para makapag-park yung mga sasakyan, pero nandun pa rin po yung permeability kung saan yung tubig is dumadaloy pa rin po sa natural or sa ating water table. And to add din lang siguro po dun sa earlier comment ni Manong Jess, ni Sir Jess po, no, I'll be share ko lang po kung paano kinoconnect ng Quezon City sa local community mga projects, lalo na po yung mga flood control projects or flood management projects na ini-implement namin. Tuwing nag-design po or propose ng mga projects, we conduct public consultation po sa mismong community, sa mismong street kung saan balak itayo yung or i-implement yung isang program. So through this consultation po, nagkakaroon ng batuhan ng ideas kung saan we aim po na magkaroon ng ownership yung nasa local community, na yung project is para sa kanila mismo. So we want them to be accountable, and hindi naman po to be accountable, pero to be one po sa project and to part na ownership or maging part sila ng project. Yun po. And also, I think nabanggit din po earlier yung sa data, yung hindi lang po siya data, no. So our projects po sa city is hindi lang po may data, may analysis na rin talaga. So yun po kasi yung parang evidence sa mga project para approve, lalo na po ni Mayor Joy, na kung saan dapat may science data ka or may evidence ka na may papakita na yung project na ipopropose mo will be effective and efficient po. Para hindi naman po siyempre sayang yung funding nito, no? So I think yun lang po muna yung aking ma-add sa ating conversation. Maraming salamat po ulit.
Mr. Chair, may I comment on the permeable pavement?
Can I answer muna the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead,
I think
Ma'am Gwen.
Dr. Lea.
Dr. Lea, go ahead.
Opo. babalikan ko lang po, ako po ay nasa practice din. Nahiya rin po ako sabihin, pero 40 years na po ako sa practice. At nakita ko na po ang lahat, kumbaga at least in this modern times, ay nakita ko na kung papaano at na-compare ko na sa dami na po na napuntahan at nagawang projects. Hindi po natin masasabi na pare-pareho ang solution. So, if si Dr. Galang was asking, on our part, especially yung mga builders and planners, ako po ay hindi lang architect, ako po ay isang licensed urban planner po. Nakita ko yung impact na pwedeng mangyari on the large scale and small scale. Ang dapat po natin tingnan ay anong level ng influence na kaya natin na parang hindi naman tayo suntok sa buwan. Ano po yun ibig sabihin? Parang the man from La Mancha. So, we'll try to do our best within the limits of our capacity and knowledge. So, in my case, sa ngayon po, ang isa sa mga ginagawa ko for the last, since po nung, I think, kailan po ba umupo si Pinoy. So, I've been going around the country and then trying to do my best on the part, hindi lang scientific, but mostly on my work on regeneration, urban renewal. Marami pong solution. And sabi ko nga, site-specific yan. When it comes to building, ito po nga yung naging predicament namin. We have a very, very old building code, 1974 pa. And we've been asking the revision. And the World Bank found in a study that we conducted na halos lahat ng buildings doon sa mga nasalanta, doon sa mga nabagyuhan, na earthquake, may building permit. Pero bakit nung lumabas yung mga study ng assessment ay mga substandard? So saan ngayon ang flaw? So there is a gap, of course. So ang point lang natin, we can do only as much, pero sa architects, meron mga ways to handle. Of course, kung bata-bata pa, pwede natin daanin bago sila gumraduate. Of course, the professors, the teachers, the practicing. Pero yung mga middle age, dapat nandun na po yung consciousness. For example, marami pong ways, Doc Galang, aside from natutunan natin at nakatulong po ng malaki yung sa environmental studies, meron na tinatawag na tayo ng biophilic designs, salutogenesis design, biomimicry, organic design, na alam natin yung organic design po ay 1800 pa po yan. At during the time of Frank Lloyd Wright, 1910, 1920s, nandun na siya. Ibig sabihin ay tingnan mo kung paano ang nature. A natural way, wag mag-cut, wag mag-fill. Of course, mahirap, pero yun nga, kaya ka nga binigyan ng talent is to be able to solve the problems in the most natural way and to adapt to the local condition. So ito po yung lagi naming sinasabi kahit doon sa organizations ng mga architects na more than 100,000 and of course sa planners din, more than 10,000 na po, na pareho po ako ay naging active. Sinasabi natin na we can always do our part. So in our end, Dr. Galang nga po, pinutuloy namin to do sustainable designs, sustainable and nature-based designs po, at saka mga approaches in all the developments prior. Hindi po ako napagkikita doon sa kasi sa planning stage po, bago po sila po ay nagko-consult sa akin at iniisa-isa ko po yung proper way prior to the which is the environmental scanning ng site, bago maglagay ng kahit isang bakal or isang poste. Dapat na pag-aralang maigi ang site. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Leah.
Dr. Leah.
Just a quick reaction
balikan
lang
ko-
po.
Sige po, go ahead.
Just a
Sir
quick
Jess.
reaction lang doon.
Go ahead, Sir
doon
Jess.
sa-
Go ahead.
Am I recognized? I'm sorry.
Yes po, yes po.
Yes, quick reaction lang po doon sa permeable pavement. Actually, hindi po yun sustainable. Kasi sa katulad natin, okay yun sa ibang lugar siguro na walang masyadong dust. Pero yung permeable pavement po kasi kapag umulan ng umulan at merong debris na dala ng ulan, natatakpan po yung malilit na pores ng ng permeable pavement. So come a time, hindi na impervious na rin po yun. Meron pong ibang paraan na para ma-solusyonan po natin. May mga tinatawag na recharge pits, no? In some areas, kung meron kang pavement, mas maganda maglagay ka ng recharge pit. Mas maganda pa yon kasi mas malalim ang kanyang reach and at the same time, mas malaki ang volume na kanyang masesave. Kaysa yung permeable pavement, siguro baka isa o dalawang ulan lang yan, baka hindi na po pwede, no? Pero sa ibang lugar na wala silang ganong problema na walang masyadong dust, it will work. Pero sa atin, it may not work. What I'm saying is it may not work, no? Kasi yun po ang nakita namin. And in fact, even the university that has conducted the research on it in the United States, hindi na nila pinag-uusapan ito kasi yung natatakpan yung pores nung pavement. Alright, so later on siguro bandang huli meron pa akong i-share tungkol sa West Valley Fault and it has something to do about what we are discussing right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Jess. Mayroong question dito for QC DRRMO, si Ma'am Aida, nahanap po sa chat, medyo natabunan. Ito po.
po. Yeah.
For Mr. Martiliano, when did the implementation of the Drainage Master Plan commence? How much had been implemented already and how do you measure the efficiency of the plan?
Yes, hello po, good afternoon po ulit. No? So, the Drainage Master Plan po was turned over to the city, I think, first half of 2024. So, nasa early stages pa lang po kami ng implementation, iilang projects pa lang po, lalo na yung mga structural projects ang nai-implement. Pero dun po sa efficiency, we have, kasi yung data po pala sa Drainage Master Plan is on street level. So may mga projects po na specific streets lang yung ma-address niya. So may ilang streets na po na implemented or natapos na po yung construction sa ibang street and it was explained to us po by our Department of Engineering that may mga improvements na po, lalo na nitong mga recent flooding nitong 2025 compared to 2024, may mga volumes na po ng water na nabawas kapag malakas yung pag-uulan. So for overall po, wala pa kami as of the moment po na masabi kung yung efficiency niya is kung ilang percent, pero yun po, sa ngayon naman po is improving yung mga status po or yung mga conditions ng mga streets natin lalo na kapag umuulan.
Thank you, Sir Leo. Si Ma'am Gwen, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Okay. First, muna, happy birthday, David. Yun ang aking
Thank you po.
Into the rest. Yeah, into the rest, hello. Sorry, humabol ako. Pero anyway, yung tanong ko saan si Dr. Siringan. Sir, parang, I think the first time I met you, baka tungkol sa Laguna Lake issue or I'm not sure kung tungkol sa, parang I'm waiting in DNR about a certain project. I'm not sure kung tungkol din sa Black Sand Mining. Anyway, there, sir. So anyway, so yung tanong ko, sir, tama ba yung narinig ko na yung study na ginawa mo for the Merck Philippines and did they funded it because siguro, if I got it right, is Merck Philippines a pharmaceutical company? Or I don't know if I got it right. And then, wait lang sir, meron pa ako konti bago nyo sagutin. And then, siguro kung yan nga yung company na yan, de baka CSR nila yan. And then kasi I made a quick search there into also forestry planting with some other NGOs or funding agencies. So, ang tanong ko sir, kung Merck man yan o hindi Merck, can you give us a copy of that study or kahit excerpts lang ng reclamation and flooding? Yon. And then, let me just add, okay lang David, tuloy ko lang. Bukod sa tanong ko, gusto ko lang i-mention, dahil may tanong din kanina si Dr. Nina. So baka this might help. I just discovered, of course we know Dr. Kevin Rodolfo na colleague din ni Dr. Siringan. In fact, in one article that I googled today, the title is on the geological hazards that threaten the existing and proposed reclamations of Manila Bay by Dr. Rodolfo. I think he cited you, two of your shared studies. And in fact, ito ang ganda nung niya, very timely. A few quotes lang. Sabi ni Dr. Kevin Rodolfo, some final comments. Our history of ignoring science while building projects that fail. During the this is very relevant in relation to the flood control project issues. During the 2000s, the Department of Public Works and Highways built several numerous, costly, but ineffective flood control structures in Central Luzon and Metro Manila, Metro Manila's Cabanama District. No objections raised by academician Fernando P. Saringan and me made any difference. Year after year, they fail, and more money is spent on cosmetic repairs. And then he went on to talk about the BNPP. And then, basahin ko ba? Sige, anyway, this is also relevant in relation to the nuclear issue. In 2008, a legislative initiative was launched to activate the BNPP. None of the available detailed geology of Bataan and its offshore surroundings made a difference to the planners. Only the catastrophic Japanese earthquake and the tsunami that devastated Fukushima in 2011 halted the effort. But if I may add here, we also made some advocacies. Okay? But that project is still being pushed by wealthy. Not pushed by wealthy but scientifically uneducated proponents. Ang ganda ng quote niya, ito is still relevant up to today. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing, people say. We might add, too little knowledge coupled with much money can be very dangerous thing. So that's from Dr. Kevin Rodolfo, citing also Dr. Siringan. Ang point niya nga, yun nga, yung science, hindi pinapakinggan. So, I think nasa ba yung conclusion niya? Ito pala yung conclusion niya. Today, it seems that science is again being, this was written how many years ago? 208, o 205, basta matagal na itong nasulat niya, pero this conclusion still parang relevant today. Today, it seems that science is again being blithely ignored by financial interests and government authorities, prompting various reclamation projects. Will we never learn? In truth, however, if wishes and oppositions of enough people prevail, so reclamations do not proceed, some of the greatest beneficiaries will be its wealthy proponents, even if they do not realize it now. For they will have been saved from squandering of much money, and their souls would have been spared the burden of so much needless death and destruction. So, ang difference lang ngayon, this was written years ago, ang difference lang ngayon, there's a public discourse, a raging public discourse against the flood control problems. However, ang aking lang heartbreak this past few days, hindi lang naman yan ng pressing issue sa national affecting the environment. And yun yung tanong ko na hopefully we can answer that in another forum or in other meetings. How can we call more attention to the other pressing environmental problems such as reclamation, waste to energy, and nuclear? Dr. Saringan pala, I'm from Green Research and Environmental Sociologist, member of the Philippine Sociological Society and other international sociological organizations. Yun lang po.
Thank you, Ma'am Gwen.
Yes,
Marian,
Madam.
I think if I could be permitted to draw up a question, kasi I think very interesting yung pinag-count ni Ma'am Gwen, no? Siguro para kay Dr. Siringan, ang ganda po ng presentation nyo. Ano po kaya yung problem sa government? Bakit hindi siya na-implement? Ito po mga suggestions nyo. At para naman doon sa QCDIRMO, ang tanong siguro natin, handa po ba ang Quezon City na i-share, no, itong napakagandang initiative na ito sa mga kalapit bayan niya? So yan po yung drawing out from the statement of Ms. Gwen.
When I address ko yung concern ni Gwen, no, it's not Merck. Merck is as you've pointed out, it's a pharmaceutical company. The work was commissioned to MRF. DENR po ang nagpatrabaho, no, nagpatingin doon sa cumulative impact assessment sa Manila Bay. Ang MRF po ay isang foundation na nakakabit sa Marine Science Institute kung saan po ako hanggang sa ngayon ay nagtuturo pa din. On the availability of the report, unfortunately po, we cannot on our own as researchers who participated in that work, we are not allowed to give out copies since we signed a non-disclosure agreement. Kung yun pong desire ninyo na makakuha ng kopya, dapat po ay mag-request po kayo directly sa DENR sa office po ni Secretary Lotilia, no? On the comments made by Kelvin and in relation to the question about bakit hindi naman napapakinggan, no? So as a background, we have done a lot of presentations to local governments, national government agencies on flooding in Metro Manila, in Bulacan, in Pampanga, and even in Zambales. Bakit hindi pinapakinggan? Alam na po natin yung sagot sa mga pangyayari nitong mga nakaraang linggo, kung bakit po ganon. May mga sariling agenda din naman po ang ibang tao, no po. Pero hindi naman po lahat ng scientific advice ay ini-ignore ng mga nakausap namin na mga local politicians, no? Ang navotas, yun pong city planner nila for some time, hindi siya naniniwala sa mga kinikwento namin, sa mga sinasabi namin. Pero I met him again after 10 years. Ang sabi niya, ay totoo pala yung sinasabi niyo. Buti na lang pala na meron kaming sariling effort. Although hindi na ginagawa namin hindi dahil sa naniwala kami sa inyo, ginagawa namin kasi yun yung pantulong daw nila sa sarili nila. So may mga ganong mga perspektibo. Now for Gwen, Kelvin and I are good friends. We've worked together, but we have different ways of doing things, different ways of getting our points across. So and then I'll stop at that, no. Pero yun po, maraming aspeto na dahil ako ay Pilipino, hindi maputi. Ang maputi lang sa akin ay ang buhok ko. Hindi maputi ang aking balat. Kaya may aspeto din na ako'y hindi pinapaniwalaan. Nagkaroon ako ng shouting match with the late Bayani Fernando of MMDA because of things like that, no? At hanggang sa ngayon ay meron pa ding ganong timpla ang maraming bahagi ng ating pamahalaan na kung ikaw ay Pilipino at ikaw ay nagtatrabaho na libre, no, hindi ka binabayaran, hindi ka paniniwalaan. Kailangan maningil ka ng mahal para ikaw ay magkaroon ng 50-50 chance na paniwalaan.
Tama po yan.
Grabe.
I can, if I may butt in, kasi yan po talaga rin ang frustrations ko for a while. Dr. Saringan, ako po ay pamangkin ni Dr. Punong Bayan. Ako po, ang aking middle name po ay Punong Bayan.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
kaya po ako nasa environment study. Ako po ay dating supposed to be nandun sa urban planning ng kabila, doon sa Kadiliman. At ako po ay naka-enroll na, pero nung kinausap niya ako, sabi niya, 2005 po yun, bago siya namatay. Maraming problem sa environment. Sabi niya, tama na yung ginagawa ng iba. In 20 years, makikita niyo yung effect. Sabi niya yon. Kaya sabi niya, why don't you go to Miriam? Hanapin mo si
Yay.
Nina Galang, sabi niya ganun.
Yay.
So I cannot forget that kasi yun yung last time namin na magkita. And kaya nagalit sa akin yung kabilang eskwelahan, I pulled my credentials, I transferred to Miriam and applied to Miriam. Ang sama lang po rin ng loob ko is because marami pong gobyerno na nanghihingi ng tulong sa akin. At lahat po naman sila hanggang kaya ko ay binibigyan ko ng payo. Kaya lang po, pagdating nung sasabihin niya ay magkakaroon ng bidding dahil sa master plan ito, sa master plan. Pwede bang sumali ka or pumunta ka dun sa isang grupo? Yan na po, nawawala na po ako ng gana kasi maraming beses na po yan nagagamit lamang kami. At sa bandang huli, data lang namin yung ginamit, nawawala na yung prinsipyo ng science, para maging credible lang yung mga bids nila, I'm sorry to say that, ay kailangan nila ng katulad natin, Sir Dr. Saringan. So that's why it's very hard for us until now na hanggang ngayon po na sa oras na ito may mga tinatanggihan ako, hindi dahil sa ayaw ko, sino po bang ayaw na magkaroon ng ganyan. Kaya lang, alam ko saan pupuntahan yan. So, nasa atin po yon sa amin, katulad namin. Pero, ganun din po, babalik ako dun sa payo ng uncle ko. hindi ka pwedeng tumigil. Kasi once na pumasok ka dyan, responsible ka na to say what is right and what should be done, whether they listen or not. So, tengang kawali yung iba naman kapraso lang kukunin sa'yo. Meron naman talagang mga bayan na nakikinig sa atin. Pero, hindi lang po i-formalize kasi pag i-formalize na, ayan na po, napasok na po yung red tape, papasok na po lahat ng hindi magandang transaction. So, umiiwas na po ako kasi syempre, may apo na rin po ako. So, I don't want to see naman yung mga apo ko later on will have a bleak future. So, hanggang kaya ng lola, try to see and try to input something. So medyo nakaka-frustrate po talaga. Sobrang pagkalabas mo doon sa conference room or sa mga discussions, sa mga TWG, pagdating ng report, hindi po nila pinapakinggan. So, pero hindi pa rin po kami titigil. Yung nga sabi natin, hanggang kaya pa at hanggang may kayang pag-aralan at sabihin ng tama. So, thank you po. Yun lang po.
Yes po, no, in the interest of time, siguro last na po natin si Miss Tessa. And then we can conclude after Miss Tessa po. Yes po.
Yes, actually, ang ganda ng discussion, no? Pero yung siguro yung aking questions are just very simple. So, just kay Dr. Siringan, regarding the floodplain zoning, yung Lamesa Dam, yun ang concern namin ngayon kasi parang nasa taas siya tapos madaming mga subdivisions na medyo malalim. Ano kaya ang mangyayari pag magkakaroon ng earthquake? What scenario can we see when this happens? That's one. And then another question for Mr. Leo. Yung Quezon City Circle development that's happening right now, parang at saka yung underground MRT, puro puro mga simento at saka mga ano kaya ang effect nito? Can this also contribute to flooding in Quezon City now that puro mga simentong nakikita natin nandun sa Quezon City Circle? Okay, those are my two questions. Thank you.
Apo, sige. Ang sa Lamesa Dam po, it's unfortunate that the city then allowed for development of the area directly downstream of the structure, the retaining structure. Low-lying siya at any dam man-made can collapse for different reasons. You don't need an earthquake for a structure to collapse. It is known that leakage is taking place in Lamesa Dam, and hopefully that leakage has been addressed. Kailangan po continuous na binabantayan yon at ina-address yun pong mga issue na gano'n. Ano ang pwedeng mangyari? Buntong hininga na lang po ako, ma'am. Yun po, talagang malulungkot po tayo kapag po nangyari po yun. Because again, this is something that should not have been allowed, no? Ang dami pong mga maliliit na mga condo apartments, houses directly in front of the Lamesa Dam na structure. Pero yun po, kailangan po talaga ng planning at sundin kung ano po yung nasa plano. At sa ngayon po, at least meron na po tayong mas mulat na tayo sa mga pwedeng mga disgrasya na mangyari, natural at man-made. Ilan po sana huwag nang pasukan ng decisions na masyadong political ang nature.
Okay, thank you. Maybe now that we have someone from Quezon City, maybe they can start planning or doing the locations in order to address this. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Siringan.
Yes po. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon po. Ma'am, siguro unahin ko na po siguro yung sa tanong ni Sir David kanina, yung if Quezon City is willing to share the data as well as the plan po, no? Yes po, sir. Actually, yung Quezon City Drainage Master Plan po is, I believe, uploaded po siya sa website ng Quezon City Government. So, available po siya for everyone to download and skim kung gusto niyo po mabasa yung makapal na libro. And actually, ito rin po ay sinishare na rin namin sa mga private businesses. I believe Mayor Joy po ay nag-meet po sila with SMC, with Sir Ramon Ang, and I think they proposed po or shared some projects that SMC can coordinate and implement din po, no? And for Ma'am Tessa's question po regarding dun sa mga mga ongoing construction lalo na sa Quezon City, Quezon Memorial Circle, I cannot directly answer, ma'am, no, yung hindi ako 100% sure sa epekto niya, pero ang Quezon City Department of Engineering naman po is very coordinating sa mga agencies na involved po sa mga ganong projects, and they are really binabato po talaga nila yung mga possible or yung mga nakikita nilang issues kung sakaling may ma-raise na issue sa kanilang office. And siguro, ma'am, to add na rin po dito sa La Mesa Dam and for the big one na event, no? Actually, last year po, last quarter 2024, we conducted a meeting with MWSS. I believe sila po yung sila pinag-manage ngayon ng La Mesa Dam, and sabi naman po nila is based naman po sa structural audit ng kanilang team, and I believe parang Japanese consultant po yung kanilang natap to conduct the structural audit. Sabi naman po nila is kaya daw po ma-withstand yung earthquake. So, pero yun nga po, tulad din po ng nasabi ni Doc Silingan kanina, na mas okay po na mas vigilant tayo and mas aware po tayo sa mga possible consequences ng mga hazards. Yun lang po. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Are we done?
Yeah,
May I just have my
Yep.
final word kasi nabanggit yung West Valley Fault. This
kaya
is
lang po,
part-
yeah,
Yes.
Sir Jess, kasi in the interest of time, we have to really,
Okay.
Pasensya na, but we are hoping for a second installment of the forum. So thank you everyone for that meaningful exchange
Yes.
of thoughts and ideas. We are really sorry because of in the interest of time, we have to cut the forum short. But as a short takeaway, I think we have to consider a part 2 of this forum. And Ma'am Gwen
Yes.
also has a good suggestion that another strategy would be a forum that is using strategic forum workshop design that perhaps we can collaborate into formulating something that is recommendatory sa ating mga officials. Okay, we are not done yet, everyone. Marian has some more announcements to make before we formally
Yes po.
conclude today's forum. Go ahead, Marian.
Yes po, very quick na lang po ito before we proceed to our closing remarks. Ayun po, ano na lang po. Make sure po to receive your e-certificates. You must have been actually present in the forum, and you must have been able to accomplish the evaluation form. Ang links po ay ipoprovide ng ating secretariat sa chat box, and it's also flashed on your screen. And of course, if you want to be part of Green Convergence, meron po tayong links na i-share din po ng ating secretariat na kung saan po kayo pwede mag-register to become members po. And then of course, to know your carbon footprint, we have also our household calculator web app through our Ako Ang Bukas Advocacy Program, and you can also be part of the bigger change by signing the Ako Ang Bukas Pledge. Okay? Back to you, Sir David.
Yes, thank you very much, Marian. So sa mga gusto mag-join sa Green Convergence, we have a very exciting year ahead. Ang daming plano at sana makasama namin kayo. So officially close to this program, we have the honor of hearing from the very energetic and passionate president of Green Convergence, Ma'am Victoria M. Segovia. Let's give our full attention as she delivers the closing remarks. Ma'am Vicky, the floor is yours.
Very much. Thank you sa lahat ng nag-attend. Since overtime na tayo, magpapasalamat na lang ako sa ating mga speakers and participants for this very lively discussion. I hope that We learned something that we can bring home. Sa akin, ang takeaway ko dito, ganun pa rin eh. Nature knows best. No? Kailangan respetuhin natin ang daloy ng kalikasan. Kagaya ng sinabi ng mga speakers natin, kailangan magtanim ng puno at yun ang makakatulong sa atin. Lahat yan, embodied ng ating principle on nature knows best. Ganun lang naman eh. Pag marunong tayo magrespeto sa daloy ng kalikasan, safe na rin tayo kahit sa mga flood. So maraming salamat till November. Thank you.
Yes po, thank you, Miss Vicky. Yes, today's session was definitely needed, no? And magandang takeaway po yun from Miss Vicky, na we revert to the nature knows best environmental principle to really address these issues, no? And yes, our next forum will be November 21,
21.
2025. Yes. Okay.
So yan, that's right. Yan, Marian, napakaganda ng ating mga napag-usapan. Siguro idagdag na rin natin, no? Na kailangan talaga dito long-term and proactive approach rather than reactive. Mahalaga na mapakinggan
Yes.
yung ating mga experts at magtulungan. No, yung bayanihan na concept ng Pilipinas, kailangan CSOs, the government, the private sector, especially our scientists and experts need to work at hindi yung alam mo yung magpagalingan na lang and puro na lang minsan na ibubulsan. Laki ng mga pondo kung saan-saan napupunta. So thank you very much once again to all of our experts and to everyone who have made this session possible. And once again, much thanks to JRS Express for supporting the 424th Kamayan Session Team Baha at Bayanihan, a holistic approach to flood mitigation. Happy 65 years of delivery service. Your support for Kamayan Forum will surely go a long way. And thank you rin po sa Trinity Observer for being a media partner for today's sessions. It's always a delight for us to see the youth participating in environmental discussion. Before we officially close, again, huwag mo kakalimutan, November 21, 2025, ang susunod na Kamayan Forum. Ito po si David De Angelo, inyong boses ng kalikasan, Green Convergence, Public Relations Officer and Board of Trustee, and with me is
Marian Luisa Palo, Green Convergence's Media and Communications Officer. We hope to see you all again for another meaningful discussion next month. Thank you.